Hey folks, so I'm gonna do like the tier list thing today. It's so popular right now. But I'm gonna be doing it with every single Team Fortress 2 map. I haven't got them all on here, there's just too many of them. It gets up to, I think, Snake Water. I'm gonna have to stop the video, add some more. But it's all in order, so we got the release maps up here, 2 Fort, Granary, so on and so forth. And as we go down the list, we'll just go to the more modern maps. So anyway, let's start out with 2 Fort. 2 Fort, blah, blah, blah. Visually I still think it's a very good looking map, but gameplay wise, it's pretty small. I guess it's alright for an introduction map, but it is Capture the Flag, which is the best game mode, to be honest. I'm gonna put it at D, because it's got legacy to it. Now Granary, I like Granary. I'm gonna give Granary a solid B. I have good memories of Granary during the early days of Team Fortress 2. You know, there's that like passageway where like there's the drop thing behind it. What I used to do as engineer was like build a little sentry nest there, so my team could like come in and invade the opposite team's base. Fun times. Well. I'm gonna put well in S tier. Why? Trains. That's why. Well has trains, not just one version of Well, all versions of Well have trains on them, and I can appreciate that. Dust Bowl, I love me a good round of Dust Bowl. By all means, Dust Bowl should be a terrible map, but it is a fun map to play when you just want to mindlessly shoot other people. If you just want to shoot shit, Dust Bowl is your map. I'm tempted to give it an A, but I'm going to chuck it down to a B. Probably a C to be honest, but I just love Dust Bowl. Gravel Pit though, I don't think Gravel Pit's aged the best. I think the 2-point attack defend thing for the first 2 points gets a bit confusing for both attackers and defenders. And the game only really starts going when one of those points gets capped. So I might chuck it down D actually. I'm not happy chugging it down here, but I feel it should go down here. Hydro. Hydro is an F. Hydro was fun when the game started, like 2007, but the game mode is literally broken now, and it hasn't aged well. It suffers from the tight corridors a lot of early maps suffer from. So you'd stand down there an F, buddy. Sorry about that. Alright, next up is Badlands. Badlands is Badlands. I can't say anything good or bad about it. It's pretty average, to be honest. It doesn't blow me away, but it doesn't disappoint me either. I guess it gave us Spires, so points to the Badlands, but I'm keeping it at C. Gold Rush was the first payload map, I think, so yeah, I was tempted to put it at C. As I said, it suffers from the tight corridor problems a lot of early maps do, rather. Yeah, I'll chuck it at C. Turbine, F. Yeah. You can't not give Turbine an F. It's just a big box. And yeah, I know I made long Turbine, but it is a pretty bad map, to be honest. Alright, Fastlane. I like Fastlane. I'm gonna give it an A, or no, I'll give it a B. Fastlane gets a B. I have good memories of Fastlane, but it doesn't get played that much anymore, unfortunately. Now Steel. I quite like Steel, it's one of my favourite maps. I'm tempted to give it an A, but it is confusing for new players, as the saying goes, so A or B. Personally for me it would be an A, but I'm going to put it at B just because. Next up is Badwater Basin. That's definitely an A. I love Badwater Basin. It's like one of the first maps where TF2 started really like opening up space-wise, when you just like fly around and shoot people. It's great fun. To me, this is where TF2 started becoming the modern TF2 we got today. Alright, next up is Lumberyard. Visually I like this map, but the problem is it's an arena map, and no one plays arena anymore unless you like playing versus Hail. So it's a pretty good versus Hail map, but as an arena map, no one plays arena. I'm gonna chuck down, I'm tempted to put it at B because it's also one of the first maps with like greenery on it. Like all these other maps so far have like just pale colors. I mean, not pale, but like strong oranges, strong yellows, and kind of pale yellows and all that. Not greenery. Lumberyard was one of the first maps to have like green colors on it. So now I'll just chuck it at C. C's green, it fits. Ravine. Ravine. I'm not a fan of Ravine, to be honest. I might put it at D. It's not terrible. It doesn't deserve an E, but it doesn't deserve a C either. Too many places to hide. Egypt is E. I'll give it an E. It's a functional map, but I don't like it very much. Junction's an F. I was just talking about corridors. Junction is one giant corridor. Watchtower. I really like Watchtower. I wish Watchtower got ported over to a game mode like Player Destruction or even, I don't know, King of the Hill, and it would be great. So I'm gonna give it a B. Because it's got potential, but it needs to get ported to a new game mode aside from Arena. Alright, next up is Hoodoo. What do I think about the Hoodoo? I don't like Hoodoo that much, but at the same time I don't hate it. I kinda like it a bit. Yeah, I'll put it at C. Next up is our first payload race map. I quite like, what was it called? Pipeline. But at the same time, payload race is a bit murky. Oh, it's got a murky reputation because of Higher Tower. So I'm going to put it at B because I have good memories of payload race and pipeline. Next up is Nucleus. Now Nucleus started as an arena map, became a King of the Hill map. If you can't tell already from me talking about Watchtower, I quite like the circular maps, and Nucleus is a circular map. So I'm tempted to put it in S tier. You know, I'll put it in S tier. I think Nucleus is a great map. Sawmill. Sawmill is B. And B, or you know, I'll put it in A. It's visually interesting. It's got some hazards in it, some fun hazards. Got a variation of game modes. You got Capture the Flag, Arena, the other one. It's a good map. Alright, next up is Yukon. A bit tight, bit smallish, bit cramped. All I really remember about the map is there's a big log on top of the center point. I might put it in D. Not too special, I hate to say it. Off Blast now. I have good memories of Off Blast when I played versus Hail, like all the fun times where the Hail fell off the cliff and died and the round was over quick. That's always a good laugh, so I'm gonna chuck it in C. It would be a B if it was any other game mode though. Here comes Viaduct. Chug it all the way into B. It's a good map, but it's not great. Harvest. Harvest is definitely an A. I love me some Harvest. As I mentioned before, the maps are starting to open up now as Team Fortress 2 ages. It's getting more areas like rocket jump and sticky jump and fan jump and just jumping in general, and you can shoot stuff and it's fun. Spooky Harvest. Harvest Event can also go on A. It's pretty much the same map except we got what's his name, Zephyrman floating around. The ghost of Zephyrman rather. Double Cross. Fun fact, on the first laptop I got to play Team Fortress 2 on, I couldn't play Double Cross. It just went all the way down to like 5 FPS, and only on that map in particular, and I never worked out why. But still, I quite enjoy the map. I'll give it a solid C. It's good for a Capture the Flag map. Next up is Gorge. I am tempted to give Gorge an S tier because I quite like it, but I don't think I quite like it enough, so I'm going to give it an A. There are a few problems with it, like I feel sometimes the final point is a little too easy for the defending team to camp. Because there are different versions of Gorge, like 5 CP Gorge, that work differently. Plus, it's just a gorgeous map, isn't it? Hey, yeah. Oh, hang on, I forgot to put Freight in here. Alright, Freight. Freight has trains, S tier. No, I'll put it A tier. Freight's a fun map. I like maps with hazards on them. It's also got that openness to it I've mentioned before. Next up, we got Target. I'm going to put Target in E because of missed potential. The cool map, but it's not really used much outside like the dorky little training mode. Alright, next up is Cold Front. I really like Cold Front. That's definitely getting an A. This is such a cool looking map and it plays really well. Thunder Mountain. Thunder Mountain. I'm gonna give Thunder Mountain an S. It's probably my favorite payload map. There's a lot of little Easter eggs hidden away, like if you look behind, I think the blue spawn in the first area, you got all like the mercs trying to look around, plan something, the words are hard. I like it. Upward. I feel no matter where I feel some people want it up here, some people want it down here. It's one of those maps that are technically good, but just gets played all the time to the point where it's just, we're sick of it. No more Upward, please. Please play one of the several other 100 maps this game has. So I'm tempted to put it in between B and C, but I'll just put it to C to avoid divisiveness. Upward is a C. High Tower. High Tower is probably my least favorite map in the game. It gave Payload Race a poo-poo name, and it's just kind of turned into the default DM map on TF2. Like if you want to actually play the game mode, you get kicked from servers and stuff, so I'm putting it down here. F to pay respects for Payload Race. Next up is Man Manor. This introduced Halloween bosses, so I'm gonna give it an A. Actually I'll give it a B because there are a few problems with it. It's non-spooky counterpart Mountain Lab though. I don't mind Mountain Lab. I'm tempted to give it an A, but I'll probably give it a B too. I have mixed feelings with the final point of both of those maps. Ooh, the Groot Keep. Where should I put the Groot Keep? This is a tough one because I don't mind medieval mode, but just one of those things that got put in the game and forgotten about. I'm tempted to put it in D tier, but I feel that's too low. You know, I'm gonna leave it in D. If there was another medieval map to compare it to, it probably would be a lot higher. Item test. I don't know why I put item test in here. Technically, item test is just the spawn of Gorge, so should I put it in A? With Gorge? Maybe? I'm gonna save that for later. Alright, next up is Frontier. Frontier gets an A because of the choo-choo train. I quite like it. It's definitely one of my more favorite payload maps. I do feel the final point for Red's a bit biased towards them. As in, not fair bias. But there's still ways around it. We got the last other payload race map. It is Nightfall. Nightfall. I haven't played a lot of Nightfall to be honest, I might just chuck it at C. It's an alright map. Nothing too special. I'm trying to go for what Pipeline did, but I think everyone was just sick of payload race at that point. Egypt. Oh wait, that's not Egypt. Lakeside. I like Lakeside. It's what Egypt should have been. I'll just bring out Egypt again. Look, Egypt's disgustingly yellow. Lakeside's like yummy pinkish yellow. I love that. So Lakeside gets put into, I tend to put an A, but I have a few problems with it. I'm going to chuck in B. Barn Blitz. Barn Blitz is another one of those maps that is technically really good, but gets played all the time to the point where I'm sick of playing it. So I might chuck it down in C. Alongside Upward. Gully Wash. Gully Wash to me screams competitive map. I like how the middle point's got like the raised area. You have to like have a class you can jump up there to get to. I think that's a cool feature. Yeah, gotta give it an A. Yeah, I'll give it an A. It's a solid map. Next we get Iduct. Iduct. Where should I put your Iduct? Where did I put Viaduct? I think I put it at... I can't even see anymore, there's too many maps. I'm tempted to put it at D to be honest, because Demo Man's Haunted Eye keeps kind of breaking up the flow of the gameplay. No, I'll chuck it at C, it's not that bad. Next up we got Foundry. I was never a big fan of Foundry to be honest. It's not an ugly map, but I don't know, I just never really had much fun on it. Might just leave it at C because it's not that bad. Doomsday. Doomsday, doomsday, doomsday. I do not like special delivery. You can go E or F. I feel you're not bad enough for F, but you're barely good enough for E. Special delivery is just reverse capture the flag. It's not very fun. Kong King. One of my favorite maps. Visually, I want to chuck in S tier alone. I think the layout's really good. Visuals are really good. In general, it's a really good map. My only complaint about it can be hard to do rocket and sticky jumping because of all like the signs sticking out and everything. Finally got it first. Man vs Machine map, Cold Town. I'm gonna chuck it at D. It's a bit unforgettable to be honest. Decent map though. Just meh. Kinda the same for Decoy. Also, just think about it, get these two maps mixed up all the time. I've got example map on here. That can go down with item test. Manworks. I like the visuals of Manworks. That can go and see. We got Ghost Fort. Hey guys, have you heard about Mirazumus the Wizard? Well, guess what? You're gonna hear about him a lot. You can go down to D. D for deranged wizard who constantly spawns every 2 minutes. We also got Ghost Town, which is just what is it? Cold Town, but spooky. Meh. Guess it's kind of fun. You can go and see. Wave 666 can be fun, I guess. Big Rock. I haven't played Big Rock that much, but what I have played was alright, so yeah, I'll chuck it in C. Running out of room in C tier. Process. I quite like Process. Process gets an A. Nice, it's bright, it's vibrant, it's colourable. It's got more than one tone of colour. Good work, Process. Stand-in. Stand-in's the only domination control point game mode right now. I don't think it works too well for that game mode, so I might chuck it into E. It's also a bit dark. Hell Tower. Hell Tower is what High Tower should be. It's going into... No, I'll chuck it into A. Definitely one of the more fun Halloween maps. It also introduced spells. Was it spells that came into High Tower? Hell Tower? I can't remember. Pretty sure it is. CP Cloak. Yep. I'm gonna chuck it down here. I'm gonna make a special tier for CP Cloak called Curse tier. Just let me get the... Here we go, Snake Water. Alright, Snake Water, you can... I like you can go into B. There we go. Perfect. Alright, I'm going to get some more map pictures and be right back. Alright, so I just put the rest of the maps in. So we are currently up to Manhattan. I have a lot of good memories playing on Manhattan when I played a lot of MVN. So yeah, I'll chuck it in A tier. It's a solid map. Same with Rodenburg. Solid maps. Actually, I'm tempted to put Rodenburg up in S tier. I think it's the best MVN map. Yeah, I'll chuck it up there. Cactus Canyon might be an S tier if it's finished, but I'll just leave it at B tier because it's unfinished. Don't know what's going to happen in the map. Now Asteroid. Asteroid's interesting because I hear a lot of people gush about robot destruction, how fun it was, but I remember at the time everyone hated this map. They said it was the most crappest game mode ever, and suddenly everyone's like, oh, bring back robot destruction, Valve, I loved it. No, you didn't. That goes down to D. Controversial. It's controversial, but I did not like robot destruction. The community did not like robot destruction. You're just nostalgic for stuff that never happened. Next up, we've got Carnival of Courage. Special delivery. But it did give us go-karts, so... E, D... I'm gonna put it at E because you actually have to play the crap map to get to the go-karts. If the map was just go-karts, it would have been like a jillion times better. Next up is Foundry. Who here remembers Foundry? Foundry is a fun map, that can go to B. Alright, I accidentally put Gorge again, that's the manpower version of it. Powerhouse. I don't really like Powerhouse that much, to be honest. Some people do, some people don't. I feel it's a bit too stalematey. Snowplow. I want to love Snowplow, but I don't find it very fun, so I'm gonna chuck it down to E. I'm really sorry for people worked on Snowpal. I just don't like it very much. It is actually too confusing for new players after playing it. Especially with new players, they have no idea what's going on. Anyway, Borneo. I like Borneo, you get a B. B for Borneo. Sujin. I'll give Sujin an S. S for Sujin. It's a beautiful map, fun to play on, a lot of area to jump around in and try new stuff out. Great map in general. Brickyard, the first of the pastime maps. Yeah, pastime's meh. I'm gonna chuck it into D. Could have been better. Next up we have Two Fort Invasion. It's Two Fort with a different skin, so I'll just put it where Two Fort was in D. Arena Bria. I've actually never played this map. I've never got around to playing this map for some reason. I might chuck this in the cursed tier because it's an arena map that came out like several years after arena was a thing. We got Probed. I love Probed. Probe gets an A. I like how all the action focuses on the control point rather than everywhere else. Next up we got Watergate. I gotta give props to Watergate because I don't know if you've seen like the original logic for the thing. It's basically just like someone highly modifying robot destruction to make an entirely new game mode called player destruction. It's beautiful. It gets A for that alone. Sunshine. Don't like it that much to be honest. It's a bit dark, but it's still a good map, so I'll give it a C. Gorge Event. I'm not a fan of it. I'll give it a D. Hellstone. I can't even separate these maps anymore. They're a bit generic, the Halloween ones. From memory, I think this is the one where like all the bosses get thrown at you. I might even chuck it an E to be honest. It's not a bad map per se, it's just meh. The most meh map. Moonshine Event's pretty good though. I like the swamp theme. That gets a B. Hellfire. Now Hellfire. I'll give it a C. It's alright for a Man Pass map. I think Man Pass needs more room to operate in. Timbertown. It's okay. Feels a bit dreary, the theme, so I might just chuck it in C. Next up is Landfall. I quite like Landfall. I think it's probably one of the better, if not the best, capture the flag maps in the game right now. So I'll chuck it in A. Vanguard. I haven't played a lot of Vanguard, but yeah. It's a bit corridory. I might put it in B. Yeah, B. Because there are good things about it. Snowy Coast. I'm tempted to chuck Snowy Coast in S tier. I really like this map, but what do I not like about it? You know, yeah, I'll put it in S tier. It's a solid map. High Pass. I don't see High Pass getting played a lot these days. I'll chuck it in A because I always enjoy playing a good round of High Pass. Next up is Metalworks. Metalworks. I barely remember Metalworks to be honest. B tier. Interesting layouts, especially for the center point, but I just haven't played it enough to make a good judgment on it. Now, Sunshine. Sunshine. What should we do with you, Sunshine? I like it. I'll give it a C. It's a solid C. Almost a B. Swiftwater. Is that Swiftwater? Yeah, that's Swiftwater. That's Swiftwater? Hang on. What part of Swiftwater is that? Well, it's Swiftwater apparently. It's got problems to it. Gets played a lot for some reason though. Oh, it's a C map. It's a low C, I think. District. Oh, I want to give this map an A, but it's Pastime, and Pastime's got a lot of problems. It's a C. It's a very high C. We're running out of room on the C tier. Alright, so Brimstone. This is based on a map called Fifth Curve. From memory, it's another one of those maps that just kind of like spam bosses and spells and gets a bit dreary, so I might get chucked down there. Also, another problem is a lot of these Halloween maps kind of like blend together too much. Look at these two. What separates them from each other? They don't have a real identity unique from each other. You know what I mean? Next up is Maple Ridge Event. Yeah, same with the other ones. No real unique identity, so meh. Pit of Death. I like Pit of Death. A bit cramped for a player destruction map, but I still like it, so it gets a C. Mercenary Park. Visually it gets an S, it's stunning. But the gameplay just brings it down to an E, yeah. This is supposed to be like an official Valve map and it plays like dog crap. Moss Rock. I'm tempted to give Moss Rock an S. I really like Moss Rock. I like how it plays. I like how it's got a train on it. So yeah, I'll give it an S. Enclosure. I think Enclosure is interesting. I've only ever played up to the last stage like 3 times ever. Normally when I play it, only gets up to the 2nd stage. So I'm gonna give it a B because I don't normally see the whole map. Banana Bay now. Banana Bay, Banana Bay, Banana Bay. I'll give it an S. It's a lot of quality's got it. It's got trains. Train maps already win me over. It's got open areas. It's got closed areas in the right spots. It's a good map. Banana Bay gets an S. Brazil. I like Brazil, but it's definitely much more blander in color theming than the other jungle maps. It's a bit more like Borneo in color scheming, I think. I do like the map. I might give it a B for a bit bland. Lazarus. I really like Lazarus. I'm tempted to put it in S. But is it worthy of S? You know, I'm gonna say yes. It's worthy of an S. Gravestone. I barely remember this map. Is it the one with the cauldron? No, that one's called Cauldron. No, it's the one with the, pardon me, the one with the cauldron at the final point. Yeah. I'm gonna chuck this in D because it kind of blends in with the other Halloween maps. Slasher. Kind of suffers from that problem too, to be honest. It does have a slightly unique setting, so I might chuck it in C. Curse Cove. Player destruction map. I really like player destruction. Has a really cool layout, but most of it doesn't get used. And I don't like how when you go into the ship, you have to go to like Davy Jones's locker, and normally what will happen is you get like the other team just camping there waiting for everyone else to deliver their souls, but they can't because they're gonna get camped. So I'm tempted to put this in E, yeah. Simply because you can camp Davy Jones' locker and steal the other team's souls without them actually delivering them. Finally, we have Monster Bash. I like Monster Bash, it's getting S tier. Round map design, player destruction map, big open area in the middle, but it's still an inside map somehow. Also you got like the pit underneath, that's pretty fun to go for. It's like a mini Death Run map. So yeah, that's pretty much all TF2 maps put in a tier list. I'm pretty generous, I think. I've mainly put stuff in B and C. A few bits in D and A. S, maybe I was a bit generous with some of these maps in S. In E and F, I think it's mostly agreeable. I think it's pretty easy to say, what was it? Hydro, Turbine, Junction, and Hightower could be considered the worst maps. Hightower's not a bad map, it's just bad for gameplay because of how the community constructs it. Well, we've got an E tier. It's mainly just Halloween maps with problems, or game modes with problems. What was that one again? Oh, that was training. Or maps I just find a bit bland, like Egypt, which is just yellow. D tier, it's like meh maps. These maps aren't bad maps per se, like you got maps like 2-4 in here that have legacy, same with D-Root Keep, same with Gravel Pit. They kind of like retain some of the problems the earlier maps had with like tight corridors and all that. Some of them are the early maps, but generally they're not terrible. C tier is the meh tier. It's like they're not bad, but they're not good either. I mean, they're not great, it's probably better to say. They're the good maps. The maps you don't hate, but you probably don't want to play all the time. But often get played all the time anyway for some reason. Like Upward here. It's also where I chucked a few of the Halloween maps for being a bit same. Oh no, that was the one below. We got B tier, which is the maps with some interesting ideas. They may have worked a bit, they may have not worked out too much. Maybe Brazil is a bit less screen than Borneo. Well, regardless, it's the maps that are kind of cool, but not cool enough. A tier is for the maps that are really solid. They're the maps you enjoy playing or have some really unique concepts. Maybe a few problems with it, like a few layout problems. But generally, if you play these maps, you're going to have a good time. Finally, we looked at the S tier map. maps. These are maps of really interesting concepts that like innovated the game. Like, I mean, innovate the special maps, the cool maps. I like these maps the most. These are the bestest most maps. So yeah, that's my tier list. I wasted like, I don't know, an hour doing this. Curse. Oh, I forgot about cursed tier. So. So if you got anything to say, then will you comment, interact with web, I guess, web 2.0 interaction. Bye.